Many times in life, we compare ourselves to others. We ask, why can't I be like them? This comparison often makes us feel unhappy. In today's fast paced world with apps like TikTok and Instagram, this habit has become even more common. So, this story is for those who feel unsatisfied with their lives and think others are happier than them. While listening to this story, we'll also learn some new words. So listen to the story carefully until the end. One day, a crow was flying and landed on a tree branch. While sitting there, he saw a swan swimming in a pond nearby. The swan had bright white feathers, and some villagers came to admire its beauty. The crow became curious and flew closer to the swan. But as soon as the villagers saw the crow, they waved their hands to chase him away. The crow thought, maybe they're afraid I'll make the place dirty. Feeling sad, the crow sat on another branch. But again, the villagers didn't want him around and drove him away. The crow felt hurt. He saw how people loved the swan for its beautiful feathers, but no one liked him. With a heavy heart, the crow left the village and flew deep into a forest. Sitting on a tree branch, he started crying. He said to himself, people hate me because of my black feathers. If only I had white feathers like the swan, I would be happy too. An old crow passing by saw him crying and asked, why are you so sad, young one? The crow replied, I hate my black feathers. They look so ugly. Nobody likes me. The old crow smiled and said, if you could look like any bird, which one would you choose? The crow quickly said, I want to look like the swan. Everyone admires it. The old crow said, there's a magical spring deep in the forest. If you bathe in its water with a pure heart, you can change how you look. But before that, why don't you ask the swan if it is truly happy? The crow agreed and flew back to the pond. The crow went to the swan and asked, dear swan, you must be the happiest bird in the village. Your white feathers are so beautiful and everyone loves you. Are you happy? The swan looked down and said, thank you for your kind words. My feathers may be beautiful, but I am not happy. People keep me as a pet and I cannot live freely. When I grow old, they might even use me for my meat. I don't know if I'll still be alive tomorrow. The crow was shocked. Then who do you think is the happiest bird? He asked. The swan replied, I think parrots are the happiest. Their colorful feathers are more beautiful than my white ones, and people don't eat them. The crow thanked the swan and flew off to find a parrot. After searching for some time, he found one sitting on a branch. The crow said, dear parrot, your colorful feathers are so lovely. You must be the happiest bird. The parrot sighed and said, my feathers are pretty, but because of them, people put me in cages. I spend my life locked up and I'm always scared. The crow felt even sadder. He asked, who do you think is the happiest bird? The parrot replied, the peacock must be the happiest bird. People admire its beautiful feathers and they give it a big cage to live in. The crow flew to a zoo to meet a peacock. He saw the peacock spreading its colorful feathers while many visitors admired it. The crow said, dear peacock, you are so beautiful. Your feathers are amazing. You must be the happiest bird in the world. The peacock looked at the crow and said, no, my friend, I am not happy. People take my feathers and sell them. It is painful when they pluck them, and it keeps happening again and again. I wish I could live freely like you. No one bothers you and you can go wherever you want. Hearing this, the crow was surprised. He realized he had been taking his freedom for granted. The crow thanked the peacock and flew back to the old crow. He said, I don't want to be anyone else. I am happy to be a crow now. This story teaches us that everyone has their struggles. Comparing ourselves to others only makes us unhappy. Instead, we should be thankful for what we have. Remember, you are unique and no one can be a better version of you than yourself. If this story helped you learn a new lesson or new words, don't forget to like and share your thoughts. See you in the next story where we'll continue learning together.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to cut through some of that modern life noise. We're looking at a short but really powerful narrative. It's a fable, seems simple maybe, but it really tackles this huge challenge we all face now. Comparison. How corrosive it is.
Yeah.
We're deep diving into The Crow Who Stopped Comparing. It just feels incredibly relevant, especially with, everything we see scrolling past us.
It really is essential stuff for today, isn't it? And the source material, it actually calls this out directly.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, it says that whole habit of asking, why can't I be like them, well, is just exploded. Especially now with TikTok, Instagram, you're constantly seeing these perfect snapshots of happiness, success, beauty.
Right, highly curated.
Exactly. So our mission here isn't just to, retell the story. It's really about pulling up the wisdom, the practical stuff for anyone listening who feels like, well, the grass is always greener somewhere else.
Okay, let's unpack this then. It starts with a crow, right? Just a regular crow.
Yep, just a common crow.
He's flying along, lands near a village pond, and sees something that it shatters his self-worth. He sees a swan, a beautiful white swan.
And everyone loves it.
Yeah, the villagers are all there, admiring its white feathers. The swan is like the picture of acceptance, celebrated.
And that visibility, that celebration, it's immediately contrasted with how the crow is treated.
Ah, right. Because what happens next?
Well, the crow gets curious, flies a bit closer, and he doesn't just get ignored. The villagers actively chase him away. Shoo! Go away!
Ouch. So that rejection, that's the trigger.
That's the trigger for the whole crisis.
Yeah. So instead of thinking, wow, those villagers are rude, he turns it inward. The source says he draws this painful conclusion.
He assumes it's about him.
Exactly. He thinks the swan gets admired because it's white, and he gets chased away because he's black. So he decides his black feathers must be ugly, dirty, disliked.
Yeah, he's falling right into that trap, isn't he? The highlight reel illusion. Sees the outside, the cheers, the admiration for the swan, and just assumes that means perfect happiness inside.
Just like scrolling through a feed.
Precisely. We see that external validation and we think it equals internal fulfillment. But it rarely does.
So the crow is just miserable now. Utterly miserable. He flies off deep into the forest, sits there actually crying over his black feathers.
Wow.
And he says, if only I had white feathers like the swan, I would be happy too. That's the peak of the comparison trap right there.
Believing that just changing one external thing will fix everything inside.
Yeah, that simple switch.
It's such an easy trap because, well, it feels like a quick fix, doesn't it? Just change your color, problem solved. You don't have to do the hard work of changing your outlook.
But that's where the story gets interesting. Some wisdom comes in.
Right. An old crow.
Hey.
An experienced one. And when the young crow pours out his misery, wishes he looked like the swan, the old crow's response is fascinating. He doesn't just say, oh, buck up.
No. What does he do?
Well, his guidance is really strategic, almost psychological.
He mentions that magical spring, right? The place where the crow could supposedly change his feathers.
He does mention it. But, it feels almost like a test. Or maybe a distraction first.
That's so.
Because he gives the young crow permission to go for it, to seek that change, but there's a condition, a huge condition. He has to do some research first.
Research.
Yeah, a reality check. He tells the young crow, okay, you can go to that spring after you go back and ask the swan point blank, are you actually happy?
Ah, check the facts first.
Exactly. And that's the core turning point. It raises such a vital question for all of us listening. We spend so much time envying the shiny surface, the visible success, the beauty, but how often do we ever stop and actually check the reality, check the cost?
That completely reframes his whole quest, doesn't it?
Totally. It's not about changing feathers anymore. It's about gathering intel.
So the crow agrees, flies straight back to the swan, probably feeling pretty confident he knows the answer already.
Oh, I bet. He goes up and asks, dear swan, you must be the happiest bird around here. Everyone loves you. Your feathers are so beautiful. You're happy, right?
Boom. Reality hits.
The first major shock. The swan says, no, I'm not happy.
Cool. Why not?
Well, that very beauty the crow envied, that's exactly what's cost the swan its freedom. It reveals it's kept as a pet. It can't live freely.
Kept as a pet. Okay.
And here's the really dark part, the part the admiring villagers definitely don't see. The swan lives in fear. It's worried that when it gets old, less pretty, people might kill it for its meat.
Oh, wow. That's grim. So the thing the crow wanted most, that admired whiteness, that visibility, it's literally the reason the swan is trapped and fears being killed.
The celebration comes with a huge hidden cost, a physical cost.
It really highlights the cost of visibility, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. High admiration, high perceived value often means high risk. For the swan, its beauty isn't really a benefit. It's become a liability. It restricts its life and potentially guarantees, well, a bad end. Its whole existence is tied to how useful its beauty is to humans.
And then, crucially, the swan does something interesting. It doesn't just stop there.
No, it keeps the comparison cycle going.
Right. Instead of maybe reflecting on its own situation, the swan, still caught in that same trap, just points to the next bird. It suggests the parrot must be happier.
And the reasoning is key. The swan thinks the parrot's colorful feathers are more beautiful than its own white ones, and this is important. People don't eat parrots.
Ah. So the goalposts for happiness just shifted. It's not just about being admired anymore.
Nope. Now it's admired color plus perceived safety from being eaten. Comparison just finds a new target.
But wait a second, the crow just accepts this. He just heard that surface beauty led to captivity and fear, but he immediately thinks, okay, parrot it is.
That's a really short point. It shows how deep the comparison habit runs.
Yeah, it feels like the cycle isn't actually broken. He's just upgrading his envy target.
You're spot on. The crow hasn't stopped comparing. He's just refined the criteria. Swapping one surface trait for another, still chasing that external fix, still assuming happiness is visible, is out there.
It's the danger of envy, isn't it? It doesn't solve your own problem. It just gives you a new thing to want.
Exactly. A new target for the dissatisfaction.
So, okay, phase 2. The crow flies off to find this parrot, assuming its bright colors must mean real happiness and maybe, freedom from the swan's awful fate.
And when he finds the parrot, oh, the irony just gets thicker.
Yeah.
Much thicker.
Let me guess, the parrot isn't happy either.
Not even close. The parrot just sighs and explains that those beautiful, colorful feathers, they're the exact reason it lives in fear.
No.
It's perpetually locked in a cage. Because its colors are so striking, so desirable, it became a collector's item, a prisoner.
Wow. So the cage is the direct price for the color. That desired feature, the vibrancy. That's what led to its limitation.
It ties back so powerfully to that core theme, doesn't it? Often the very thing we envy in someone else, their amazing talent, their high status, their looks, that might actually be the source of their biggest struggle, their cage.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of cage from the swan's fear, maybe. The parrot isn't worried about being eaten, but its visual appeal means it's permanently removed from, well, freedom, from its natural life. It just lives this terrified, controlled existence because humans like looking at it.
And just like the swan, the parrot doesn't break the cycle either.
Nope. Still trapped in comparison, even within its own cage. It points to the next candidate.
Who's next?
The peacock. The parrot concludes the peacock must surely be the happiest. Why? Because it's admired by everyone, and get this, it's given a big cage to live in.
A big cage. So happiness is now defined by the size of your prison.
Isn't that something? They're literally comparing degrees of limitation, not even thinking about actual freedom anymore. It's like they're adjusting their standards downwards to fit their reality, always assuming the next step up is just a slightly better cage.
Okay, so the crow heads off again.
Yeah.
Phase 3. The peacock. He goes to a zoo this time.
Yeah, finds the peacock in a zoo. And he sees it spreading those incredible feathers, crowds of people admiring it. It looks like the absolute peak of visibility and success.
So the assumption comes flooding back. This must be it, the happiest bird in the world. For real this time.
But the peacock?
Yeah.
This is where it gets really painful. The peacock delivers the final crushing blow to that idea.
He's not happy either.
Absolutely not. And his misery isn't just fear of the future like the swan or the confinement of the parrot. The peacock's suffering is immediate. It's physical.
Physical, what do you mean?
The reason is just brutal. The peacock explains that people take its feathers, they pluck them out to sell them.
Pluck them while it's alive.
Yes. And it's painful. And it happens over and over because the crowds, the admirers, they want the plumage.
Oh my God, that's horrific.
It's an escalation, isn't it? From captivity to active, painful exploitation. Those crowds admiring the peacock, they're not protecting it. They're the reason for its pain. The very trait that draws all that admiration, the stunning feathers, is the source of repeated trauma.
It's like its beauty is being harvested painfully.
Exactly. The peacock is like an employee whose job performance literally costs him pieces of himself. repeatedly.
And this must lead to the big realization for the crow.
It does. Because the peacock's deepest wish, it's heartbreakingly simple.
What does it wish for?
He wishes he could just live freely, like the crow.
Like the crow?
Yes, like the crow, who nobody bothers, who's left alone, who can fly wherever it wants, whenever it wants.
Wow. So those black feathers the crow hated so much.
That cloak of invisibility, of being unremarkable, suddenly that's revealed as the ultimate superpower.
Because no one chases the crow to put it in a cage.
No one captures him, no one plucks his feathers for profit. His lack of value in their eyes is actually his greatest strategic advantage. Freedom.
He saw his lack of admiration as a failure. But standing next to the most admired, most painfully admired bird, he finally gets it. That freedom, the ability to just be and go wherever he wants without fear, without demand, he was taking it completely for granted.
And that's the moment. The profound realization hits him. The whole journey clicks into place.
So he goes back to the old crow.
He goes back to the old crow and declares, I don't want to be anyone else. I am happy to be a crow now. And importantly, this isn't just some feel-good affirmation.
No, it's earned.
It's earned through investigation. It's driven by that rigorous, fact-based reality check on what all that external admiration actually costs.
What a powerful way to think about comparison. We often treat it like a character flaw. Stop being envious. But this story frames it almost as a lack of research.
That's a great way to put it.
Once the crow does the research, asks the questions, the problem just dissolves.
It does. And if we circle back to the bigger picture, the lessons from the source material, they really land with more weight now, don't they? We can pull out maybe 3 key takeaways for you, the listener. Things that go beyond just be happy with yourself.
Okay, what are they?
First, pretty straightforward but crucial. Everyone, even the ones who look like they have it all, they have their own struggles. The catch is, those struggles are often hidden deep beneath that beautiful surface we're busy envying.
Right. The swan's fear, the parrot's cage, the peacock's pain, all hidden.
Exactly. Second, comparison is basically a self-inflicted wound. Why? Because it ignores the reality of trade-offs. You're always comparing your own messy, complex, private reality to someone else's polished public highlight reel.
And that's just never a fair fight. It's a losing game from the start.
Every single time. And finally, maybe the most strategic lesson, learn to be thankful for what you do have, especially the ordinary stuff. Realize that the things about you that maybe don't draw attention, that make you blend in, those might actually be your greatest protection, your immunity against being caged or exploited or hurt.
Your uniqueness gives you specific freedoms others might not have, even if their lives look shinier. The crow's liberation came from realizing nobody particularly wanted him for his feathers.
That was his superpower all along, anonymity.
So that journey, envying the swan's white, the parrot's color, the peacock's display, only to realize the incredible value of his own ignored freedom. That's the path to real self-acceptance, isn't it?
And it's acceptance based on understanding your strategic advantage, not just on, positive thinking.
Yeah, it feels more solid.
We get so fixated on defining happiness by external stuff. The likes, the followers, the cheers from the villagers, the crowds at the zoo. But this story really teaches us to look differently, to recognize and appreciate the invisible assets, like freedom from cages, like freedom from the painful demands that sometimes come with being highly valued or visible.
You stop looking for that magic spring to change yourself.
When you realize the ground you're already standing on is actually pretty protective, pretty good.
That's a really powerful reframing of success and contentment. Okay, so here's a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on as we wrap this up. If that one trait you most envy in someone else, maybe it's their job title, their looks, their popularity online, if that suddenly became your reality tomorrow, what hidden struggle, what specific kind of cage might you unexpectedly inherit along with it? What's the unseen price tag on that thing you admire so much?